you.
Today's March 8th. Tuesday, March 18th, 2025. Call this meeting to order. The Zoom public is asked to remain muted during the meeting when the board is talking. If you do not wish to be seen on the board through TV or the YouTube recording, your camera must be turned off via Zoom. In-person public participants will be given the first opportunity to comment and ask questions on each agenda item that requires a board vote. Zoom public participants will be given a second opportunity to comment and ask questions on each agenda item that requires a board vote. Zoom participants wishing to comment must raise their hand icon and state their name and must speak at one time. If people are, this will be recorded via Zoom. I have the chairman's report.
That would just be.
The board met in a joint executive session with the Westtown Township Board to discuss police personnel matters. Keep East Goshen Beautiful Day is set for the morning of Saturday, April 12th. Please visit the website or call the township office for more sign-up information. The East Goshen Electronic Waste event will be held on Saturday, May 3rd from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Please visit the website or call the township for more sign-up information. Is there any public comment? Any on Zoom? No? Any? Seeing there's no public comment, we have the emergency service report. First, we'll start with WeGo Interim Chief Dave Lee.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So for the month of February, Westtown East Goshen Regional Police Department responded to a total of 2,144 incidents. 1,195 of those were in East Goshen Township. Year to date for the department, we're at 4,184, and that date is at the end of February. For East Goshen, that total is 2,351. Out of those calls in East Goshen, just some of them were 10 frauds, 12 motorcycle or 12 motor vehicle crashes, 5 disturbances, 1 drug offense, 3 harassment, 1 simple assault, 17 suspicious conditions, 3 trespassing complaints, 13 well-being checks, 1 weapons offense, 3 mental health, 2 sex offenses, 2 thefts, 1 theft from motor vehicle, and 38 traffic-related problems.
Excuse me, can you tell us what would constitute something suspicious?
That could be anything ranging from somebody sees a suspicious walking down the road to a suspicious vehicle in their neighborhood. It's a wide range of.
Thank you.
I always like to remind people to go to our social media and our Crime Watch page. Specifically today, I would like to highlight on our social media Crime Watch page the function where residents and business owners can go to a certain tab there. They can register their security cameras with us. So it's not, you're not registering your public information, it's private for us. But if there's an incident, a crime occurs, it gives us a bank of cameras that we could say a resident in Bow Tree has a camera that might assist us. So we encourage that registration. Some trends, especially coming up with spring, coming this Thursday, I guess. This time of year, especially in the parks, we get extra motor vehicles, in East Goshen Park especially. We have a lot of sporting events that are going to be starting, so we encourage people to keep their cars locked, their belongings hidden when they're trunk, or take them with them. These thefts from motor vehicles also occur or increase in the spring in shopping centers and daycare centers. Dirt bikes, obviously, children or kids, young kids riding dirt bikes on the street actually increases this time as well. That happens a lot in Goshen. So reminder, motorbikes, dirt bikes need to be registered or driven on the road. I want to highlight the 1 weapons offense that I mentioned. So far this year, officers have, through investigation, through vehicle stops, through incidents, have gotten 3 illegal guns off the streets. Most recently, just a couple of days ago, but one in February, I'd like to highlight, there was a stolen vehicle that was identified in West Goshen. Our officers attempted to stop it. Long story short, they ended up getting the people. One of the occupants had what's called a ghost gun on his possession, which is illegal. So it was great police work by our officers. Lastly, I want to touch on accreditation. Our department was accredited in 2016. For the last every 3 years, we've been reaccredited. Most recently, I'm happy to say that we were reaccredited on February 28th. For those who don't know what reaccreditation is or accreditation is, through the Pennsylvania Law Enforcement Accreditation Commission, they set a numerous standards and policies and best practices that police departments and agencies across the state adhere to. Out of the 1,200 police agencies, over 1,200 police agencies in the state of Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, only 184 are accredited. So I'm happy to say, our officers are meeting the policies. We're showing compliance with the policies. And the assessment proved that we once again will be reaccredited, and that will officially take place in April at a meeting in Harrisburg, which I'll happily attend and proudly attend.
Will the police commission be attending with you or?
No, typically that does not occur.
Chief, I just want to congratulate you on the reaccreditation, mostly because the reaccreditation manager had left in the middle of their accreditation, which I think is important to know. And we also, after you became interim chief, so there's a lot of change and it was still done. So just congratulations to you for that.
Thank you. It was a team effort. I really can say it was a team effort. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Goshen Fire, Grant?
Well, good night.
Good evening.
Hello.
Sorry. So for the month of February, the Goshen Fire Company responded to 42 fire calls, 23 fire police calls, and 418 EMS calls. In East Goshen Township, we had 21 fire calls, 4 fire police calls, and 207 EMS calls. Volunteer staff hours, we had 123 volunteer staff hours for fire calls and 36 career staff hours. And for EMS, we had 49 volunteer staff hours and 644 career staff hours. That's pretty typical for the way we're staffed. There were no major incidents in East Goshen Township. We did have a vehicle fire against a building at the airport in West Goshen. On the 16th of February, we had multiple weather events. And then we assisted Newtown Square with a building fire in Willistown. And we assisted Westchester Fire Department with a building fire on 400 North Walnut Street. We've had a little bit of rain recently, so we're hopeful that the brush fires will calm down a little bit, but we have had a busy year with brush fires. So we're welcoming rain.
Anybody?
Thanks, Grant.
I have a quick question about alarms, false alarms. How are you making out with those now?
They're
It's just
running the same
still
rate.
the same rate.
About half of the calls we run are.
All right. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good night, Chief.
Thank you.
Oh, and the spring flower sale is going to be coming up soon too. We saw
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Easter weekend. Great. Thanks so much, Grant.
No public hearings tonight, so there's the financial report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will handle that for Dave. He should be back at the April 1st meeting. So as of February 28th, net of pass-through, the general fund had preliminary year-to-date revenues of $1,801,199 against expenses of $1,950,792 for a net result of negative $149,593. As of February 28th, the general fund balance sits at $5,921,831. Mainly February was another tough weather month before we started clearing up finally. So again, over budget on snow related work, some sewer stuff as well, sort of drove that revenue, drove those expenditures for February. The other thing I wanted to bring up quickly, just because I briefly touched on this with a conversation with Cody, but it looked like permit numbers were a little behind, but that's a lot of, as far as the revenue side of that, that's mainly seasonal. And also Dave and I talked about it, and we think it's also related to some of the lack of transfers and sales in real estate happening right now, because post holidays and into 2025, we're really seeing a dip in sales for real estate, which a lot of that comes with people moving into new homes and new places and wanting to renovate and do some work. So that should pick up as the weather gets a little bit better. And that is all, unless there are any questions.
Any questions on the board? Or from the public or Jim? All right, then next is the approval of minutes. And the treasurer
We
should
don't have any treasure. And that is right.
No minutes, right?
Nope, no minutes this time, so that is right back to me for treasurer's report. So we have the attached report from February 13th to March 13th. EIT collections, transfer taxes, LST collections, real estate collections, interest income rent, Verizon franchise fees, alarm permit fees, PR registrations. All of this, the general fund expenses include the monthly WEGO contribution, snow removal materials, again, the big one that kind of happened to us in February. Among insurance payments, routine operational expenses. We also had a $4,000 of infrastructure sustainability fund expenses included for beaver removal, tree removal, and some water sampling.
Mr. Chairman, I move we accept the receipts and approve the expenditures as presented, the expenditure register and summarized in the treasurer's report.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Old business.
We have no old business tonight, so we can start a new business.
Okay, new
And-
business is.
Although it is kind of old business, actually, I probably labeled it wrong, so I apologize.
old business.
So,
That's fine.
yeah, so this is another speed bump discussion. This was occurring right around the same time. I don't know if the board remembers, we did Highland last
Mhm.
year, went through a process to get those permanent speed bumps in. Well, an additional one, there were already two there. Around that time, there were another group of residents that came to some of those meetings from the Waterford Road area who were experiencing some issues with people coming off of Marstein and causing an issue with speed. So I guess they had contacted the email again, saying that we did do some preliminary things on Marstein that were probably not that effective with line painting and some signage, but anyway, so we're bringing the topic up again for discussion, but more broadly, I guess, because Mark Miller and I have been having an internal discussion about how to go about this a little bit more broadly throughout the township of when this comes up. Because the last time it happened with Highland, we obviously went through a very long and detailed process of getting votes from residents, but also traffic studies, engineer studies on the speed. So we were trying to think of ways how to implement this when residents express concerns, where we can do something fairly quickly and not have to go through those processes. So what we came up with was outlined in the memo I wrote here. What Mark and I were hoping to do was, when these situations arise, obviously we would do some internal digging to see if we're in agreement with, hey, it'll be a minimum standard to sort of meet, but probably a low bar, because these are going to be what we're referring to as temporary speed bumps. And what we can do is we can put these in, they kind of get staked in the ground and they come off if needed. They can come off during winter operations, which is really helpful, because with the permanent speed humps, that's an issue with the maintenance of them. So again, we're looking at maybe, I'm speaking about Waterford, but also again, just generally putting these in where we were looking probably between Highgate and then Morstein, seeing if it's effective, maybe getting some more speed studies. Because no, side note, we just Mark did have some stuff out there to do a preliminary public works speed study to get some speed idea. So now we have a benchmark right now.
How much did it cost?
That's the beauty.
Yeah,
They're only a couple $100.
yeah, they're not a lot.
There's plastic.
How big are they?
So it's interesting, they're higher a little bit, but they're smaller this way. So they don't stretch
feel it.
out. Yeah, you feel
Well,
it.
yeah, I'm worried that somebody could wreck their transmission or.
No, they're,
No.
it's a poly plastic speed bump.
Well,
you'll get a lot of votes from, it. I hate it or like it, and it'll definitely slow people down.
Oh, yeah, it'll,
Because you gotta check up for them.
Will we have signs to put in with?
yeah, you have to have, yeah, you're gonna have some sort of signage to put in with them. So again, that kind of gives us a little bit of leeway to evaluate how they're working, if the speeds are coming down, but also just looking at, if there's any other complaints the other way, if residents don't like it, and if we have to evaluate that, but just general feedback situation and a definitive time period where we're getting some feedback, and then they can be, I mean, I say they're temporary, they can be long-term though. So, there's no need if it's working to put on a permanent speed hump right away. It just, again, as I outlined in the memo, it gives us flexibility without having to get hammered down on certain votes and engineering studies, and then gives us the flexibility to take it out if necessary. So,
There's an added component to this too, because apparently, we have a higher hurdle for speed humps that are permanent with PennDOT and getting some liquid fuels money reimbursed. So this is an added component where it's not a permanent thing. We're not permanently paving, and we don't have to necessarily have to worry about the PennDOT reimbursement.
No, that's fine.
So it's an
I'm
added,
fine with it.
it's an added bonus. But I like the fact that you want to handle it.
and I did,
individually.
so, I did actually talk to Interim Chief Leahy about it too. He thought it was, a good idea, or he thought it was an idea that could work. He was fine with it. And he would, we would work with WeGo to make sure they know, where it is.
No, they tried patrolling it all or writing tickets,
Oh, yeah,
like heavily writing tickets.
yeah, I mean,
Writing tickets for
I
what
mean,
though?
Huh?
Writing tickets for what?
Speeding.
They can't use radar.
yeah, I mean, they've
That's the problem, right?
they've been down there with extra enforcement over the last year, sometimes as we've asked them, but obviously that's more of a cyclical thing as it can be. They're not gonna be there all the time, so this is obviously more of a 24/7
Stupid.
thing.
I agree.
So, Unionville parks a empty car all over Unionville all the time to slow people down. Actually works. They win.
Yeah, Newtown Square does that a lot.
That is effective for me, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Uh,
it helps. If it doesn't get everybody, it gets some people.
Yeah, so,
It's inexpensive.
Well, this is
Anyway,
great because
yeah.
you don't have to make a motion.
no, it's just an administrative thing.
Speed
Yeah.
hump
I
can
agree
actually
with it.
be placed then, and evaluations can be done internally. We don't have to
No,
necessarily get a speed study or traffic study done by an engineer.
no, you'd have to, I mean, again, if you are going through the process of doing a permanent one, then that would be more involved,
Mhm.
but yeah, we don't have any motion, but the board can take questions if they deem appropriate. But other than that, Mark and I can kind of, get working on it.
If they don't like it, we get some phone calls, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I like it.
I think they're cost effective way to get something going.
Mhm.
To slow people down for sure.
Yes.
All right, everyone good with that?
Yep.
Yep.
Moving on. Approval of resolution 2025-05. 1338 Morstein Road Sewer Facilities. Planning module for land development.
I am popular tonight, so.
Okay.
I do have Kelly Kraus on the line as well, for any more specific questions. This is actually a preliminary step because we're hoping at the April 1st meeting it'll be ready, but this is the land development that will be coming up at, it's the joint land development with West Whiteland and us. There's 16, I believe 16 homes, 13 are in West Whiteland, 3 are in East Goshen. It is a weird area there. I want to see if I can, share the screen and get this up just so I have a picture of it briefly, but let's see here.
Thanks for blowing this up. It doesn't matter. I still can't see it. There we go.
So I just want to give a visual of where the kind of what it looks like. So this is the subdivision in question. It's going to be sort of one row with a cul-de-sac at the end. Again, the full land development will be on the board shortly, but DEP with new sewer facilities always has a required planning module that we need to go through. Now, the interesting thing about this is because West Whiteland has so much of the neighborhood here, and we'll see this in the land development talks too, a lot of the servicers are going through West Whiteland. So when we're talking about sewer trash, so technically it has to go through East Goshen Board of Supervisors, but it's a unique one in that this is not going to our sewer system. This is going to be West Whiteland's responsibility, if you will. So again, the board needs to pass it just because that's what's required. Draft motion is upon you. But it's just, again, it's a required step that they required for Department of Environmental Protection. Kelly, I don't know if there's anything you want to add more in depth than that, that I'm missing, but yeah, that's all I had for it.
Yeah, no, I just think it's maybe an important clarification that the resolution is to revise our township-wide sewer official sewer designation for DEP. Not necessarily that we're saying that we have the allocation or anything like that, because the allocation is not going to us or through any of our sewer mains. It's just a revision of the official township sewers. That these 3 lots are incorporated into the West Whiteland system.
Yep, thank you.
Are they going to have to pay the 3 lots? People that buy them, are they going to have to pay a sewer fee to somebody?
Yes,
Who?
West Whiteland.
Okay. And we negotiated that with West Whiteland?
No, they're not using our system, so it would be up to West Whiteland as far as what the payment would be.
My understanding with municipal authority is that in the past, when we talked about this particular situation in the past, that the East Goshen residents would be charged the East Goshen sewer fees. And we, East Goshen Township, would be paying West Whiteland directly.
Yeah, it was.
So whatever they charge is what we have to pay them, even if it's less. So if we're charging $10 and West Whiteland's charging 100, then we would have to pay West Whiteland 100 and only collect $10 from the resident, just for simple sake.
So it was my understanding, it was, we're used as a pass-through, obviously, as you're indicating.
Okay.
But I thought the cost was, and maybe this is clarified more in the land development portion, Kelly, but I had thought that whatever West Whiteland is charging, that's what they're responsible to pay with us as a pass-through, but you can clarify more if you know more than I do.
Sure. So one of the reasons that we're not bringing the land development plan before the board, either prior to or in conjunction with the sewer module tonight, is because that agreement hasn't been fleshed out with our solicitor, their attorneys, all of that jazz. So while we're working on that, we figured we would get this portion of it at least moving so it could be applied, so they could apply for their sewer module, sewer facilities planning module to DEP. And then in the meantime, next month, we're hoping to come before the board with the full subdivision plan and land development plan that will have that multi or intermunicipal agreement incorporated with it.
Great, then, Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt and submit resolution number 2025-05. The PA Department of Environmental Protection for its approval as revision to the official sewage facilities plan of East Goshen Township regarding a sewer facilities planning module for the project located at 1338 Morstein Road.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Fee schedule change and a phone cannon for the park. Oh,
Thank you. Yeah, phone cannon. So this is Jason's new,
What?
yeah, pretty much. So, we have I guess that's what it's not. It's a foam cannon.
Yeah.
It shoots foam out. It's, young kids love it. You go to parties and it's like soapy foam that comes out of the cannon. So we now, have ownership of one. And in addition to using it at our own Parks and Recs events when deemed necessary or deemed okay, we are also looking to rent it out and garner a fee, obviously, from people when they are renting it. So the fee schedule, or the new proposed fee schedule with it, is in this, is in the new Exhibit A that I put forth here. And that is coming with I believe it's resolution 2025-06. And this is literally just in order to add a fee for this rental of the foam cannon.
Mr. Chairman, I move we pass resolution 2025-06, adding the foam cannon rental package to the 2025 township fee schedule as described in the memo and in Exhibit A of resolution 2025-06.
John has a question.
Two questions. One, what it cost? You know, I'm gonna ask that.
Yeah, I mean, it was approved as part of the budget last year, for 2025.
You know what I always say to that? Because it's in the budget, you don't have to spend it. But I'm still curious what we spent.
I can give you the number. I don't have it on the top of my head.
What do you think?
Why?
I feel like the number 600 stands out in my mind.
Well,
But it
Yeah, it was.
the rental for 2 hours is $600.
What? I think it was for some reason, I want to say it's like around, it was around like a few $1,000s.
Oh,
but I don't have the number off the top of my head.
Okay, the second question is, did anything else in the fee schedule change?
Nope.
other than this?
No, that's the only thing I was highlighted, so that's the
I'm
only
good
thing.
with it. That's
I'll second,
the
I'll second,
motion.
oh, there you go.
Got it.
Got it in there.
All right, all in favor then?
Aye.
Aye.
H-
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
Go
the,
ahead.
yeah, we have the HVAC service bid results. This is for basically continued service from the same company that we've been doing our HVAC service here, Precision Mechanical. They were the low bid for it, and we are asking for the board for a approval of the 3-year contract from 2025 to May 1st, 2025 through April 30th, 2028, because their contract is soon coming to an end.
I'm just curious, is there any reason why the numbers are so disparate?
Thank you.
The disparity.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I talked to Mark about that. I think their problem is, and there's nothing you can really do about this, but some people just bid incorrectly, like they misinterpret some of the things that are in the bid documents, and
They would have gotten the same documents, so, right?
they do,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But there's plenty, it's not just this, there's plenty of people that get bid documents, when you see disparities like this, they're just not interpreting it correctly. Problem.
so what are the services they're actually bidding on,
Thank you.
they're supposed to do?
So they do a so this is
Price
based,
filters and.
yeah,
stuff
they
like
do,
that,
yeah, they do like basically, I don't know how, feel like I see them here a lot, but I don't know if it's monthly or I forget exactly how, but they're here
Mhm.
and they do the filters, they do replacements of certain things in the component, but a lot of these numbers are based on it's like a lot of things. It's when you take hourly rates and then you multiply by the amount of hours
Mhm.
you think that they're gonna be here for. So that's sort of what's happening here, but it's routine maintenance stuff mostly, but obviously if stuff goes wrong, that could throw it out of whack as well.
That'd be the extra then.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we award Precision Mechanical for the HVAC service consultant the amount of $18,512.47 for this to occur for 3 years, starting May 1st, 2025 through April 30th, 2028.
Okay.
Okay.
You got me good, John.
I have one question. Can we be provided with what they actually are
Yep.
doing?
Yep.
For that?
Yep, I can do that.
Just enough. Is there any public comment on any of this? Or questions? I don't see any, so we have a second. John, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have sewer cleaning and television bid approval.
Same question.
And yeah,
Same questions.
yeah, it's yeah,
Yeah,
The disparity, I just have to say, it makes me nervous.
Yeah.
We're responsible for what happens here, and I don't understand how one company can do something for 24,000 and
Yeah.
another would want almost 200,000.
So it's based on, specifically had a conversation with Mark about this. It's based on, we give them the amount of linear feet we think we have to do. And they times it by the amount that they times it by as far as what they charge for the linear feet and the hours. And we give them the bid document, and we came up with the same thing, that people sometimes just aren't understanding the bid process.
Same question though. How many feet are they videoing per year for this number?
Yeah, so we
How
have,
many feet were videoed in the previous years? And what do we spend for that?
give me 1 second.
And Mark up on the Zoom.
Because that'd be all that, they could see what they took it in and see there wasn't much and you did it like that. That would be more just.
If you just give me 1 second.
Other companies could be so busy, they just throw a big number out there, they get it great, if they don't, they don't. Yeah.
It's up to us, sure,
No,
there isn't somebody looking to worry about it.
You know,
they can look back at previous histories and see what's been done, see how much work's been done, that's all gotta be in public record.
Yeah.
So my question is, what has been done and what's been costing per foot to be done? Each
Good
year,
question. Good question.
So this is just for the televising and then the cleaning with the televising
yes,
based on linear feet. So, if you don't, if we want to hold off and we'll talk to Mark about it, then that's fine.
yeah, can we talk?
I
about
just want to make sure everyone knows, I just texted Mark and I
okay.
said year round, if I send you a Zoom link to answer some bids, and here he is right now. So
Okay, yeah, it'd be great, thanks, Cody.
thanks, Mark. They got up, he's connecting audio.
That's right. I'll do it.
Mark, you're a quick guy. I think the board has some questions. I'll turn over to the chairman to facilitate.
Go ahead.
Can you hear Mark? There he goes.
Hey, Mark,
Mhm.
what's happening?
Technology's great.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're good.
Yes, Mark.
Great.
Hey, Mark,
Yes,
the pipe data view bids,
yes.
what are you doing for that?
So we went out for a bid for somebody, if we're busy and we need somebody to jet or televise some sewer lines, they can come out and do it. It's more of it's a maintenance thing. And Pipe Data View has been doing it for forever and a day. The other people didn't understand it, and I kept telling them it's an ad needed basis. And they didn't get it. That's why the numbers were way through the roof, and Pipe Data View stayed where they've always been.
So you might not need them to do this.
Correct.
Okay, just in case we need them. And what's that? What's the 24,000 cover?
Whatever we want them to do. Televise.
Mark, I guess what he's asking is how many linear feet is that based on? What are all these numbers based on as far as the amount of, because because you and I talked about it, I thought it was based on their hourly rate, and then they all had the same amount of linear feet.
Correct. 20,000 linear feet.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if anyone else had any other questions about that, but we did pass your HVAC unit as well, but I think there may have been other questions. I don't know
I
if
think it's a
anyone.
similar question.
Yeah, what do they do?
Take care of all the units up in the ceilings, come out twice a year, change the filters, flush the lines. They come in the spring and they come in the fall. So again, it's just a maintenance contract.
Okay, and you're happy with that?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely, yes.
Anything above the maintenance though, for the HVAC, they would charge us.
Yes, they have their hourly rates on there. But like Derek can attest, they've done it since we put the new system in, and they know the building. The other people, Chaz took them around, and they wanted me to give them the size of the filters, how many filters, how many belts. I'm like, no, that's your job to inspect the system. So we only had one guy out of all the bidders come and look at everything. And he just said, this is too much for me. So it is what it is.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay.
Thanks for being so quick getting back to us.
Yeah, thanks for jumping.
Thanks,
on the
Mark.
call.
No, no
Dave.
problem. All right. Have a good night.
Two, I'm gonna say, Mr. Chairman, the staff recommends that, Pipe Data View be awarded the bid for sewer feeding and televising service contract in the amount of $24,550. This contract is for 3 years, May 1st, 2025 through April 30th, 2028.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right. Next on the agenda is the ESAC appointments.
1 second.
And I believe these are the only two people that submitted for it.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the ESAC volunteer forms were sent in to me. And the two people that were listed, Amari Stedman and Derek Stedman, they submitted their names to join our ESAC. And we had some openings on the ESAC. I to date have received no other applications or volunteer forms filled out. So again, the board was provided the volunteer forms, and they are up for possible approval tonight to join the ESAC.
Derek, I'd like to just speak briefly before,
Sure.
before I actually asked the Stedmans to apply, so that ESAC would have a quorum. They're well-spoken folks who can talk, engage questions, both, pros and cons about a number of different arenas, aren't, listen both listen well to different opinions and will give that credence. They understand that the ESAC is an advisory council and are well speaking. Mr. Chairman, I move we appoint Emery Stedman, Derek Stedman to fill the vacant seats on the East Coast Environmental and Sustainability Advisory Council for the terms ending at 2/2026.
I'll second that.
Any questions on Zoom or public comment?
I actually just wanted to say that, I think moving forward, we have to be a little bit more consistent about getting these applications when they come in for various ABCs. And it would be nice to be able to have a standard, interview period, because we've done that in the past and we didn't do that in this case. I'm sure that they're very nice individuals. I don't have any issue with that, but the fact is that I think moving forward, I'd like to see a little bit more continuity in that we should be interviewing all of these individuals to make sure that they're a good fit. Sometimes people are maybe better fit for a different ABC. And it's important for the board to make sure that they do understand the role for each individual board that they join. But like you said, you talk with them and that's great. But I think moving forward, I'd just like to see that consistency.
I would agree if it is a consistency and we do that for every committee, every committee.
Yes.
I would love to see us make it a standard practice
Yep.
to interview, but we can't just do it for one committee and not.
No, we're gonna
other
do it for
committees.
all.
Yeah, so I would,
We should do it for all.
I mean, that would make my life easier. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm
no,
always playing
that's
the
no
guessing game.
No, I do, well.
That's our goal.
As it should be, as it should be.
It kind of got all off. Yeah, let's just keep it like, let's go back to.
no, I agree, Michelle. Yeah. I agree.
Okay.
We need a motion.
We had a motion in a second.
Okay, it's up there, okay.
You already asked a comment, so.
Yes, ask for public comment. I didn't see any on Zoom,
All in favor?
on here. All right,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Great. You? See you again. So,
So this is
yeah,
actually, yeah, Barbara, do you want to take this one or you want me to?
Sure, since I've been meeting with the 250 committee, what is before you is a letter that will be sent to elected officials, inviting them to participate with the shared events with East Goshen and West Goshen. The letter's attached. It's pretty straightforward, and the 250 committee has looked at it. It came from both East Goshen and West Goshen. Mainly just wanting your approval before they send the letter to various dignitaries to invite them. I do also want to just say, along with this, that East Goshen, West Goshen 250 committee was invited to speak to the Chester County Historical Commission leadership meeting to share with them all of the plans that are being drawn up for the celebration 250, because we're the farthest along in the planning. So we did that on Saturday and were very enthusiastically received. So with that being said, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the letter being sent out to dignitaries on behalf of the East Goshen and West Goshen for our joint America 250 event to take place on May 30th, 2026.
Second motion.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Barbara.
I could take the next one since I'm the liaison for Conservancy. How about that?
Please do.
All right, so the next thing here we're gonna discuss is the Arbor Day proclamation. Every year for the past several years, we have had an Arbor Day event held on the same day we do Keep East Goshen Beautiful Day, which happens to also coincide with the Easter egg hunt or Easter egg grab. And so as a tree city, we need to have an official proclamation that accompanies the event. And rather than read this motion as it is, Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the reading of the 2025 proclamation for Arbor Day for this evening ahead of the event, but that proclaims the event will be held on April 12th with the rain date of the 13th. Second. Thanks, it was complicated.
Any
Sorry.
public comment? Any on Zoom? I don't see any.
So I will, so do you want to take a vote and then I'll?
Can I have a vote?
Aye.
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 All right, I'm gonna read it into the record. It's going to be attached to the minutes. Arbor Day proclamation, whereas in 1872, the Nebraska Board of Agriculture set aside a special day for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting, heating, and cooling expenses, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide a habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our community increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, whenever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And this will be signed by Pete Hicks, our chairman. This is going to occur on Arbor Day, April the 12th, with the 13th being our rain date in the township of East Goshen. And we urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands and plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. And I will also say that the Tree City application has gone through, and Derek, did I see a note from Ashley that it's been, Tree City has been applied for?
Yeah,
And we're just waiting for the final approval. on
that is correct. Yeah.
All right, and this will allow us to not have to read the proclamation on Arbor Day at the event.
Michelle, I have a quick question for you, if you don't mind.
Yes, not at all.
Do they still plan on doing a tree at Climbers Wood?
No, actually, the tree is gonna be someplace else.
Oh, cool.
It might be over near Bellingham, near the Plank House and the bee area, the beehive area, so I'm not exactly
Cool.
sure that it's been determined. But yes, that will be where it's gonna be this year.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We need a motion for that, or we good?
That's it.
We're not.
On that.
All right. Standing issues, projects, discussion of April board meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, looking at April and then also looking how it flows into the next month. We were looking at having the April 1st meeting in 2 weeks. I briefly talked to Michelle about this because I knew she would be away. I'm actually I'm out of the country in third week in April. So we were kind of talking about what we should do. She had volunteered to either, if she could, remote in, but if not, it was fine to go ahead with the April 1st meeting. And then we would meet, the next meeting after that would be May 6th, which aligns perfectly because we cannot meet the third week in May because that's election and obviously we're a polling place. So the next two meetings, as far as what I'm proposing or what we're looking at, is April 1st and then May 6th, the way it's setting up. Obviously discussion, if anybody has any opposing views on that, but that was what that was what I was thinking.
I'm not saying opposing view on this, but perhaps moving the 6th to the following week, even though it's unusual to do it on the second week. Because we're gonna have a little bit longer of a gap between that May 6th meeting and the next one in June. So rather than have that extended time, maybe shorten it by a little tiny bit.
So that would be May 13th, and that's doable as well.
That's what I would say.
Do you have to advertise it?
We do not, because we actually advertise in the beginning of the year all the Tuesdays.
Oh,
Yeah.
But you would just put it out on constant.
Oh, yeah, we
contact
would-
and Put it on the
Yeah,
calendar.
we would advertise.
I am on vacation, but I will sacrifice a night at Disney for you, Michelle.
Well, I don't know that you should
I'm just
sacrifice
kidding.
night of Disney.
You have somebody who can run the machine there.
I will be here.
Oh, you'll be,
Yeah.
you said you were gonna be away.
Well, I'll be away the
No.
third week in April. That's
Third week.
why we're
I
talking
see.
about not,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought maybe I'd get a chance to play with you.
I mean, you could, hey, we could try to get a Phillies game on here for you, John, you know?
Want to see her, Colin?
Now,
Yeah.
there aren't any land development issues that are gonna be, you don't foresee any land development issues in the April through May issue.
So April, the only land development on the horizon is the West White one we just discussed.
Okay.
If you want, you and I can discuss a little bit more in depth before we leave. I don't think anything else is ready. There's a possibility that might not be ready. We're hoping, but you know, obviously things change if agreements are not done. Because I want all the agreements done that night and signed, because I'm tired of going back and forth with people. So I do not see beyond that anything on the horizon. Sorry, Kelly's about to probably correct something.
I was
else.
just gonna say, I did get changed, so I'm, actually, I thought it was done for the evening, so I'm gonna put myself back on, no video. But if there is anything, I will be in attendance. So, any, actual, big land development project, I will be in the audience and in person for you. All right?
Thanks, Kelly.
Yep.
For any other matter, I do have a, John, I texted Jason and Jason said that the foam cannon costs $1,600. And we rented 3 or 4 times normally, so we saved money by purchasing, now we're renting it out, so.
Yeah, I saw him running that. It was very interesting.
Was it worth 1,600?
Yes.
Perfect.
I've got to watch this sometime.
Cody's making me look bad, getting all the answers from my
I
employees.
hate extra meetings. If you're running the meeting, I'll just text them.
Be manager.
Oh.
Is your
I'm just
assistant-
gonna lose
assistant
my
manager?
job.
Yeah, assistant to the
Give me
manager.
your-
Worried about losing my job.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Any-
Oh, wait, there's. oh,
Any public comment? Any other comments?
Liaison.
I have just a brief liaison
Yes.
report from Pipeline. Derek, thank you for reaching out to PennDOT about the transfer station, Boot Road and Paley Pike. The Pipeline Committee is going to continue to pursue it in additional ways and put some data together and reach out again to PennDOT and perhaps public officials and media. So they just thank you for putting it out there with
Yeah.
PennDOT, and they're not accepting
Yeah.
an initial no as a stop.
Yeah,
They're gonna
so,
pursue it.
yep. Yeah, we can talk offline too, but that's,
But I thought that the
Yeah.
board would want to know that
Mhm.
they are concerned about the safety of that transportation and are going to
Pursue it.
pursue it.
That's terrific. Well, I appreciate them doing
What's
that.
going on? Pipe station?
so that's the valve station on Paley Pike. I guess there was inquiries on our behalf, to try to get a guardrail near that. Preliminarily, PennDOT did not like the idea, let's just say that, so.
They'd rather us have the explosion like they did in LaPorte, Texas.
Terrible.
No comment.
Can the pipeline people just put something around it themselves then?
Just the
No,
pipeline.
it's
No.
private.
Or,
property.
Oh, I get you're saying like some, you mean like some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa, whoa.
Concrete barrier.
Yeah, so bollards were discussed,
Mhm.
that is an option, but reaching out to PennDOT again to maybe further massage it a little bit.
No, just put it right down next to the pipeline.
Yeah, no,
station.
no, that's actually was the recommendation. It's not, no, we can't do it.
Yeah, I know, we can't.
The
Pipeline.
It's the pipeline.
Well, the
No,
pipe.
there's actually a company that owns that
Correct.
that wedge of land, and pipeline has a easement for the
Mhm.
valve station.
So the preliminary conversations with PennDOT were no. And we recommend that you pursue bollards with the property owner closer to the valve station. That was,
And anything come from that?
well, no, that's, we're
That's
still.
still in the
hiring.
last
Oh,
week.
This is all.
new.
Oh, just let you go.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Now, can we entertain a motion to?
I'd
adjourn?
love to second that.
Oh, great.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
In favor, aye.
Sounds good. Thank you.